Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. This is Brian Reaction. So guys, if you're coming across this video for the first time, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. Now, in today's video, we all know after Hurricane Melissa, there was total destruction in Jamaica, and in this video, I want us to talk about schools. So Damian Crawford was asking questions about schools, like how many schools were destroyed, how many schools have been opened, how many children were displaced. So I wanted to watch this live one-on-one debate between Damian Crawford and I think the Education Ministry, and I'll be back with a few reactions.
Yesterday, we had information that 150 schools were not open. So I would like to get some better understanding of what would have occurred.
This was from the Standing Finance Committee?
Yes.
Right, I just indicated, member, that we had consulted the data this morning because our principals update. It's a live database. Likewise, we got to ADPEM this morning to verify again the shelter data. They submitted a latest report to us which indicate there's a decline in the number. So it is a live database. That data that was shared yesterday was dated, and the new data set is indicating that we are at 986.
986.
Yes.
You said earlier that there was, what, 50 schools still remaining as shelters?
55.
55 as of this morning.
55. So that would indicate that there are some schools remaining as shelter that is considered open.
Yes, because the student, remember, the shelters, they are not utilizing all of the blocks, right? And then some of the students from these schools being used, they have been hosted in other schools. Say, for example, Petersfield, that we know about,
Yes.
they are at the church. So the Baptist church has given us the facility to set up the tents, and we are engaging the students in their rotation. Godfrey Stewart High School has also hosted some of them in the rotation.
So in this case, is Petersfield considered open?
Not the physical school,
Right.
but the continuity of learning, which is the goal of the plan. The students are being engaged on rotation, teachers are involved, and we consider that operational.
But of those 55 schools, just to say that some of them might only have like 7 or 8
In the
persons
shelter.
in the shelter. So
Like,
it
for
wouldn't-
example,
it wouldn't take up, it wouldn't prevent the entire school from operating.
Yes, but Chairman, all right. So the Petersfield, he said, would have been considered and counted in the open based on the church.
the facilities that we're using to continue
So
learning.
how many schools do we have that are physically open? Do you have that?
We're getting the data for the whole
That's
school.
All right. So the schools that have both the shelter and the schools, what are the systems put in place to ensure security of the children and exposure of the children
Within the shelters?
that are both shelter and schools at the same time?
Well, those centers those schools that are being used as learning centers for continuity, the blocks are managed. So there's a shelter manager in the shelter. There's a conversation and a relationship. So persons are secured in a particular location, and the blocks that are removed
You're
from the
saying
shelter.
there's a segregation
There's a
between the
separation on the
areas.
plan.
So you also indicated that 298 schools were of extensive damage.
Yes.
Severely damaged is the statement that you made. So these schools that were severely damaged, they are also currently open?
Some of them, yes, Chair, because we have the support of our international development partners like UNICEF, and we have got tents. So we have deployed tents, which is what we call under the emergency temporary learning spaces.
In these same spaces?
In some of these spaces, yes.
So construction is happening in these spaces?
Well, we have begun the cleanup in some areas, and I know NET has begun the discussion with several of our contractors.
Usually we have contractors going into schools and working, but there are safety mechanisms that they have to take into consideration and put in place. So they work with the principals to segregate that area, and that becomes a workspace.
All right, I'm happy to hear about the safety measures, but how does this impact the institution of learning and the environment of learning? I'm sure there's a lot of hammering and stuff like that that is happening.
That's why we have, so part of the Yes.
Chairman, we have a
So
little-
they
Yeah,
work on weekends after school, but also we have emphasized with the project teams and the contractors that there has to be significant dialogue and agreement
No.
with the administration of the schools to work out.
We have 30 more.
All right, hold on, since I'm getting, Mr. Crawford, after you've gone about 7 or 8 questions, I think you could stop and allow other members.
With due respect, Chairman.
And allow other members. And we can come back to you. We
We
can come
have no
back to
problem if you want to come back,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to be hastening not to ask
No,
the
I'm
question.
not saying that you must ask
All
questions.
right, fine. So
but-
you can come back.
yeah,
So let me
but I
ask one
think-
more and then
yeah,
you can
go
come back
one
around.
more and then we can
No
move
problem
on.
with that, Chairman. Approximately how many students have been displaced from their school situation due to Hurricane Melissa?
No, I'm not sure the previous lady was finished. I think she was interrupted by the back and forth. Were you finished, or would you like an opportunity to?
It was really just to emphasize that we do have safety mechanisms in place. We understand that school happens, and usually we work out with with the institutions the best times to do work.
I asked for the number of students that have been displaced by Hurricane Melissa
That's a
from their schools, not from their homes. Schools.
from their schools.
Yes. And what's the attendance records showing for the percentage that are back in school?
Okay, so as I indicated, the schools are up and running, majority of them. We have a few of the schools that are physically not available, and so those students are being hosted. So in Region 3, we have 1,135 children from a closed school that is rotating, and that would be a little bit disruptive. From Region 4.
Sorry, give me that again. From Region 2?
Region 3.
3?
The affected regions 3, 4, and 5. Region 3, which is 1,135. Region 4, 2,568. And Region 5, 3,018.
3,018.
Yes, so about 6,718 in total.
These are the schools that have been
Closed.
Totally
and so
closed.
They are being hosted at different schools by rotation. So in terms of disruption, in terms of movement and so, these would be the most affected because they are not in their physical schools.
So
they are moving into other schools and they are rotating as well. So they are not, all the students are not accommodated every day. So they may be 3 days in, 2 days out as it relates to remote and the blended. The face-to-face and the remote.
I can't say that I'm understanding. These children are going to their schools or other schools?
Other schools. They have been displaced from their physical location.
Right. So this is what they're called host schools?
So they are being hosted into other schools, yes.
But the data that we have here is that a total of 680 is being hosted. Your attention to page 2 of the report, section 4. In this section, it was indicated that we have approximately 680 students that are being facilitated in some way at a host school. Information garnered here was that regions 3, 4, and 5 are the most impacted regions. Regions 3 has 1,135 students whose schools are not in accessible operation. However, only 10% approximately of that is being hosted. Region 4 has 2,568 students who don't have a school to access, their own school to access. Only 61 of that is being hosted. And Region 5, which is 3,018, only 90 is being hosted. It therefore calls for my concern as to what is generally happening with the students who are not being hosted.
The
table as outlined here, it's actually showing the number of students being hosted within the region. So although regions 3, 4, and 5 have been affected, they are still hosting students. So there are students being hosted within even the affected schools.
So welcome back, guys. I hope you have watched the full clip. Now, one thing I like about Damian Crawford is that he is that one guy who always want answers. At least because of him, the Jamaican people can really get to know how things are moving on in Jamaica. So in this video, he decided to find out about the education system in Jamaica, because most parents right now are wondering how their children will go back to their schools, because we all know after Hurricane Melissa, a lot of schools were destroyed, many schools were destroyed, children are being displaced. So parents are wondering like what is the government doing towards this? How will the government help curb this problem? So big up at least with them, with whatever happened in this parliament. At least Damian Crawford has made parents know some of the steps that the governments are taking in place to make sure that education in Jamaica is restored. So in this video, Damian was trying to find out like how many schools were destroyed, how many children have gone to schools, what is the government doing towards those children that lost their school and now they still have to learn. And you have heard that in some cases they are doing that in the tents, and I think the government is looking upon constructing new schools for them. But now we all know education sector is very, very vital for any country. Very, very important. Actually, education is the most important part, because if the government does not make sure that the education sector is secured, then we'll have a very big problem. We won't be having qualified, working skills in any country. So education is very, very important in any country. And I want to big up Damian Crawford for this debate. At least now the parents of Jamaica, the parents can now know how their children will go to school. So the government is putting in place ways to make sure that schools will be constructed. But this video has made me remember a certain video that I did, and YTR revealed something in this video, and I want to talk about this. I think this is the reason why Damian Crawford was trying to find out. So YTR revealed that the government of Jamaica is planning, to fix first the tourist attraction sites. So those areas that, tourists go to, tourists visit, those are the places that the government was planning to start with. Now, we all know after Hurricane Kelisa, many countries came out to support Jamaica. Many countries helped. They joined hands to make sure that they help Jamaica. So Jamaica received a lot of money from countries to make sure that it rebuilds again. But now the government was into building the tourist sectors first before any other place. And that made me wonder. Jamaicans were wondering, like, why would you start with that? Okay, we all know that tourist sector is bringing a lot of revenue to the government of Jamaica. Yes, tourists are flocking in Jamaica annually. But now, look at issue like this issue, right? Like we have right now the issue of education. Education is very, very, very important in any given country. Education should be number one. Education is very, very important. And I think, according to me, instead of, them starting with this tourist whatever, I think one thing they should have done is make sure that children are reporting to school as normal. They would have found out easier ways or faster ways to build, even if they're just, temporary schools or temporary places whereby these children can go and continue with their learning activities before now they rebuild the permanent buildings to make sure that education sector is well catered for. But now they decided that they are going to start with the tourist sectors. So the man was trying to find out, like, how many schools are under construction right now. But it seems that the government is now putting in place measures to do that, but they haven't even started doing that. So according to that debate, they are saying that the engineers, the constructors are trying to, to find out and to plan how they're gonna start rebuilding schools in Jamaica. But now look at this time, because it reached a point whereby many schools were not opened. So that shows that many children were not going to attend schools. Now I think after Hurricane Melissa, that was the department that was supposed to be dealt with. Number one, Jamaicans would have the government would have made sure that schools will reopen as usual. The government would have made sure that every child goes to school first. After that, I think now they can now consider rebuilding other things that were lost during the Hurricane Melissa, because according to me, I don't know what you guys think about this, because according to me, education system is very, very important. Education is that is a place whereby every country should consider, most of the efforts should always go to education system, because when we learn, we will be the leaders of tomorrow. These children will be the leaders of tomorrow. But if they don't learn, and we all know our common enemy, then trust me, we will be destroyed. So education, according to me, education is very, very important. So I don't know what you guys think about what the government is trying to do on this issue of schools. I don't know if you guys are contented by that debate. So in the comment section, you can tell me what you think. So thank you for watching this video, guys. Until my next video, one love.